Okay, this is the Double AI app. This is our most popular app. Everybody who becomes a member uses this AI, this app, and I will show you why. You click over
Okay.
here and it'll open in another thing. Okay, and you got our little splash screen, no big deal. Okay, this is what this thing does. Double AI lets you use two AI models simultaneously from a single prompt. In other words, one prompt gets sent to both models at the same time, and you get the replies at the same time, and they're displayed to you side by side, just like these. You got over here we have Perplexity. Over here we have OpenAI, and I can put a prompt down here, like write me 500 words about AI. Okay, well I'll do that in a minute. It's already comes with two things, but you can change. The really cool thing is you can go over here, and all of these work the same way. So there's always three-button menu over here, and you click on it, and it slides out this panel. And there's various things, a menu for copying your responses to clipboard and stuff like that. But when you're going and we have prompts that we give people this to start with. But the big thing is right here. It's called settings. And my picture of myself, can I move this thing? Let me move it over here. Okay. So since we have two models, we have two setting things. And like one is set to ChatGPT 4.0, and I want to set the second one over here. Let's see. And it lists all the AI, not alphabetical. It lists them in because if we did alphabetical, it'd have to be it would have to redisplay it every time there was a small change.
Okay.
It lists the apps in the order of the ones that have been modified and updated by the host company. Like when ChatGPT update makes an update to GPT 5.1, which they recently just did, it ends up here in the top three because they just did the up. So the further you go
Okay.
down, they haven't been updated in a while. Okay, so you can go to any one of these things. I got OpenAI. Um, Here's Gemini. Let's go to Gemini. We put Gemini over here. Okay, so now we have Gemini, and now we have OpenAI. Okay, this one's Nano Banana, the Nano Banana one. I really want this.
Okay.
Let's go deep. Let's use DeepSeek because I want to put it. So we got a prompt. You can set your creativity for both of them. It defaults to 7. If you go too high, you end up with a lot of. You can end up with some crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
once you pick these, you go down here and you click on set values, and he says, okay, your preferences have been applied. So now your two models have been chosen. Okay. And you can hit reset and reset them to what they were originally set to. But once you've done that, you just close our little thing here. Okay, so now I've got GPT-4 on the left here, and I got DeepSeek over here. So if I go down here and say, uh, write 500 words about AI, which is a really silly,
Yeah. It's vague.
simple prompt. Okay, this prompt gets applied to both these apps at the same time. So you click on the little paper send thing here,
Yeah.
and see it appears. Both of these appear, and they're thinking and doing their thing.
Yeah.
And when they get done, they're going to display everything. And the really neat thing is that you get both of these things side by side. So there's a variety of different things you use. For instance, we use the side by side, and you can see that you don't always get the same length. So this one's a little bit shorter than this one. So this guy might be 500, and this might be 480. Um,
Right.
when it comes to counting words, the AI models they don't get it exact because a token it's only one token a letter is 2.5 of a token, for instance. I mean a word, so it's not a whole, so they don't
Right.
get completely accurate when they're doing words. At any rate, so you have two different approaches coming from two different things. Now, what this means is you can use both of these and put them in different places.
Right, for like
You know,
split
on
testing.
blogs, you know, you can use one for a blog, you can use one for a Substack or you know, media, right? An article in media, stuff like that. You get two different outputs and you use it in two different places. And they're not going to be the same. They're basically the same. They're talking about the same subject, but how they do it is different. And so you can get double the work done from the same prompt. You don't have to go bouncing back and forth between different apps to use different models and get different outputs and all. It's all going to come. It's going to do two at a time. So you can do two from this and then pick two more models, and you know, in no time you can do 10 models and 10 different outputs for the same subject matter. And I mean, you bounce that stuff all over the place. Never have to worry about, you know, Google slapping you for using the same thing on 5 different sites and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
There are other things you can use it for. You know, you can compare. And when this app says John McCarthy did this and this one doesn't say that, but says somebody else did it, then you know one of these two is wrong.
Yeah.
And so spotting hallucinations, errors in the AI is really, really, it's much easier when you read both of these things and you tell when one is off. It just doesn't, compared to the other one, it doesn't sound right. So you know right away that you really need to check that one because it may be there may be a hallucination in it, and it happens more often than people know. It really
Yeah.
does, particularly depending on what you're doing. So it's really good for doing that sort of stuff. So you can get twice the output. You can do things like compare and find hallucinations and all that. And you could also take the best of both worlds. You know, you can take a paragraph from here that's really, really good, and then another paragraph from you know, you take a paragraph from DeepSeek that's really, really good, and then you find another one open out gets okay, this other paragraph here, this is also really, really good. And you can put both of them together in your final product. So you take a paragraph from one and a paragraph from another, and a paragraph from one and a paragraph from another, and it with something completely unique and better. I do
Yeah.
this all the time. I mean, I use this thing. This double AI is open on my machine 24 hours a day, pretty much, because I don't put anything into just one model. I take it when I test it. It's really great for testing prompts because you know if a prompt is good, if it works well on both models, and you can plug in, you know, half a dozen models and check the prompts. So we can check our prompts twice as fast as anybody else can. I mean, we can test 10 prompts 5 times faster to see that they work with those models. And we do that. We're constantly testing our prompts to make sure they're working on more than one model, not just
Okay.
ChatGPT, but DeepSeek and Perplexity and, you know, all these. We check them, and it's faster to do it when we do here because we look at both at the same time and go, okay, yeah, okay, this is good, that's good, this is good. Okay, this one's not so good, so maybe we need to tweak the prompt, and we'll go down, we'll make a tweak to the prompt to the same two models and do it again. And the second time around, we might get better from both sides.
Yeah,
And
and being a marketer,
that's how we optimize. That's how we optimize our prompts. And
I would
anybody else
use
that
this
does this has to.
for split testing, sales pages,
Oh yeah, yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
I've split tested sales pages and landing copy and sales copy, just all kinds of stuff. I've tested on both sides, and like I said, it's really good for tweaking those prompts. You know, coming up with a prompt that's going to work really, really well for everybody, pretty much all the models out there. Because the only other way you can do it is if you have, you know, you have an app for Perplexity and you have an app for DeepSeek and you have an app for, and you bounce around between the apps and you keep putting, and then it gets really tedious because if you have 5 apps that you're using and you're using to check a prompt across these 5 different apps on your system, you got to bounce around between the apps. And even if you do one little tweak to the prompt, you got to go to all 5 prompts and make the same tweak. It's kind of that slows you down. I mean,
Yeah.
it prompt checking. That was probably the biggest impetus for us to design this app to begin with. Was we wanted to be able to do twice as much, twice as fast, because we're little guys and we're trying to keep up with the big guys out there. So any little advantage that we could come up with, we do. Um, and so that's why this is so popular with everybody on our site because to my knowledge nobody has this, nobody's doing this. because they're all
No,
different
I've not seen.
companies, and they're not going to let you access. You're not going to find Microsoft letting you access Google from their stuff. They're just
Yeah,
not going to do it. They want to do their stuff from their site. So if you want to do prompting for different models and all that stuff, you have to use different apps, or you have to use our apps, and at the very least be able to do two at a time. And you could do two at a time and then check another two, and it's real fast to go through. You could take the top six to 10 models out there and check them, much faster with double AI.
yeah.
So
I like.
I have people that have been on here since 2021, and they all tell me the same thing. It says it's worth $5 a month just to use double AI. Not to mention the 70 some other odd apps and 200 some odd models that we have. That alone for them was all it took. And some of them, that's the only thing they use. They don't even go into the other stuff. They just have their own prompts and stuff, and they use double AI and they pull it out and go do their thing.
Yeah, I crack out lead